I graduated from electrical engineering and computer sciences, ended up with master's degree in IT. I used to be vice chairwoman of for internal affairs of ISTEC International, a non-profit organization for students, when I was in charge of 30-something local chapters in 20-something countries at the time, which made me realize that I'm addicted to traveling, international environment, and gathering people. I have 8 years of experience in IT, 5 of which on the road, hence the digital nomad attribute. I also have a decent number of Upwork hours, all of them done on the road, some of them in quite challenging and or exotic conditions. Like, for example, I spent almost a year in total while camping, while working online and actually assuming quite serious roles on the projects. At that time, I was a core product engineer for a US startup. It was happening in Greece, in various Greek islands, a few summers in a row. There was solar panel on the van, 3G for the internet, a bicycle to go to local villages, get food, gas to prepare the meal. And basically this is one experience that made me realize that life is so simple and we don't need much to be happy. Also, that is an excellent way to put an end to any kind of procrastination. If you have just enough power supply to finish your work tasks, for sure you're not going to be Facebooking and fooling around. You're going to get super productive, so that was an excellent exercise. I go every year to Jericoacoara in Brazil, which is a very special remote place, surrounded by sand dunes, perfect for kite surfing, windsurfing. There are no streets. You arrive by 4x4. There is just sand all around. So basically what I do is I park my flip-flops and I don't see them for a few months in a row, being barefoot 24/7, which gives me this perfect sense of freedom. And I definitely believe in no shoes, no problem. This happened when I was working and living, traveling in the Philippines, when kite surfing on a desert island. It took us 4 hours in a fisherman boat to get there, which was an adventure on its own. It was really, really weird, the big waves going top of our heads. Everything was wet, everything in the backpacks was wet. We needed to hang on to this boat and somehow arrive before the tide goes low, since there is a reef around the island. Maybe you can see this. This is the actual photo of the island. One of the guys had a GoPro on his kite. So there is a reef, so we had to arrive before the low tide. There was literally nothing on the island. It's maybe 300 meters times 50 meters big. So it's possible to see the sunset and the sunrise from the same place where you sleep without moving. Really excellent feeling just being surrounded by the ocean. What was also important, there was no GSM coverage, so we had to be super careful when kiting. There was no way to call for help if we needed. We brought our water, food, everything with us. A friend of mine went there this year again, and he told me they already built some fisherman houses there, so officially it's not a desert island anymore. I guess the moral of the story would be seize the opportunity while it's there. I'm really happy that I had this adventure in my life. So how did I decide to break free and start living all these kind of adventures? Well, I have to admit that I didn't have one of those horror stories like horrible boss, mean colleagues, nothing like that. I always been on good terms with everybody I ever worked with or for. It's just that I wanted more quality time in my life. My last office job was in Athens, Greece. I started windsurfing during the weekends, and pretty soon something like this started happening. During the weekend, nada. Monday to Friday, full power wind. This is the actual forecast that happened like 2-3 weeks before I quit my job. And I saved it because I wanted to have the proof if somebody asked me how this happened, how did I make this decision. Basically, I realized that the wind doesn't work in 9 to 5, Monday to Friday schedule. The same goes for many other great things in life, and I just thought it's silly being stuck in an office when we have the technology today to live from wherever we want and spend time in whichever way we want. At that time, 5 years ago, I didn't know anything about digital nomad term. I didn't know anybody else doing anything similar. This is something that happened to me spontaneously. I quit my job within a month, canceled the apartment, sold, gave away furniture and stuff, bought a one-way ticket, and started changing continents every few months. Never stopped doing that. 5 years later, still here, still happy with my decision. What I wanted to emphasize is that it's not less cool if you do it in a less radical way. between being completely conventional and completely on the loose, like me and some other people, maybe even more, there is this sweet spot for everybody. So the key here is to be flexible and to stop wrapping your life around your work and instead wrap the work around your life, around the life you choose. So what would be the benefits of being location independent? I guess it's getting already obvious. 5 years ago, people used to be a bit suspicious, but now I think we already kind of know. But I will say the obvious because I think it's that amazing. For me, the biggest benefit is getting quality time in your everyday life. Like, for example, all the following photos were taken on the very same day when I, for example, implemented a new feature or published a web service or had a Skype conference call. So literally between 2 lines of code or just before the Scrum meeting, you get the idea. No more killing time, no more waiting for weekend or vacation. Just think about that silly concept of killing the time, which is the time of the only life we have, and somehow we wish for our lives to pass faster so that we finally can reach that vacation and then do stuff we like. So we always say, I can't wait for June, I can't wait for July, I can't wait for that weekend. We can't wait for our lives to pass faster. That's a silly concept, I think. So no more killing time, having quality time in everyday's life, that is the biggest benefit of location-independent and flexible lifestyle, if you ask me. The other benefits would be the personal growth. I think in the past 5 years, I had a number of experiences that would match maybe 25 years of conventional lifestyle. I'm pretty sure about that. I became more proactive, more creative, and able to feel at home, I'm sure, within 48 hours upon landing, literally. I just need to check out the time zone difference with my clients, to check out the workout options. Maybe the sand is too fluffy for running, but the water is perfect for swimming. And literally within 2 days, I feel like at home. And when I think about some friends who need like a few months to decide on which gym to join, I realize that this kind of lifestyle made me really able to maximize on every activity, every experience, every place. Any goal I set, I can reach it faster now. If I want to spend more time with friends and family, I don't need to wait for Easter or Christmas. I can go wherever I want, whenever I want. If I want to do sports, I just go wherever the best conditions are at the moment. If I need networking, I just go hit a hub for a few months, meet a bunch of interesting people. So any goal can be met almost immediately. What would be the challenges? Well, first of all, telling yourself that you're not following the path anymore, that you're creating your own path this time, and then telling the world. No matter if your friends and family don't fully understand you, it's still important to get their support. You don't want to burn the bridges. That would just ruin the whole experience for sure. So now we'll fast forward. As I said, I started my trip back in 2010, and then the years were passing by. And then I reached the point where I actually worked more years on the road than I used to in an actual office, which means this is not an episode for me. Working in the office was an episode for me. I also made way more savings while working online on the road than I used to have before I started the trip. And that is really important. It means that I'm completely sustainable. Otherwise, this would be just a prolonged vacation, which would eventually end. And I don't want that to happen. Another concept that I think Mark also mentioned, it sounds simple, but sometimes it's difficult to grasp, is that you're basically homeless. I have my windsurf gear with some friends in Brazil. I have my old bicycle with some friends in Greece. My juice blender is in Brazil as well. But basically, I live out of a backpack. This is the actual photo of my family's dog with her name on it. This is something she has, and I don't. And I have to accept that because I made a decision. I used to think that I don't need a vacation since I'm already in vacation places all year around, and that I would even be a spoiled person if I decide to take a vacation. So the only time I allowed myself not to work was 2 years ago when I spent 2 weeks in Cuba and there was no publicly available internet. So I was forced to have a vacation. Recently I found out that you can have a burnout even in a paradise place. So take a tip, just take that vacation sooner. Don't wait 5 years to realize that. Also, I used to think that maybe I'm being ungrateful. As I said, I had quite decent work environment, nice friends, wonderful family, and still I left. Obviously, other people left their hometowns, but there is usually some kind of excuse. You have to go to a certain city to work or to get education, PhD, stuff like that. And if you're location independent, it's pretty clear that you just simply wanted to leave, right? And then I was thinking a lot about that, and I heard something interesting. Do you know what is the biggest enemy of a great life? It's a good life. And I wanted a great one. So I had a good one, and I wanted a great one. And I don't think it's being ungrateful. And I was also, it somehow clicked in my mind when I was boarding a plane, which happens quite a lot. And the flight attendant was saying those safety tips about us having to put the oxygen mask first on ourselves before assisting the others, something like that. And I thought, well, they have a point here. It's important first to take care of yourself, become this happy, enthusiastic, energetic, fulfilled person in order to be able to help, support, and inspire the others. So I feel way better now about my decisions when I went through all these thoughts. Also, you have to accept that there are bad days in paradise places just as well. One of my bad days was when I broke up from a long-term relationship, checked in a 10-bed dorm hostel. It was my birthday, and on top of that, I got food poisoning. And so I ended up on a pretty dirty floor of a common bathroom in that hostel. And I was, I think, semi-conscious, not able to get up for a few hours, and nobody from that room knocked on the door to check on me. Obviously, I felt really pathetic and lonely. The day after, I went kite surfing. Life was good again. And the moral of the story would be, well, even in paradise places, there is bad food, there are bad relationships, there are bad roommates. What we can do about that is try to build more meaningful relationships. We tend to think that everything is temporary just because we're traveling, but actually it's not true. Nowadays, I keep meeting same people again and again in different places, and we are becoming closer and closer friends, which means that now most of the time I do have somebody to check on me when I need it, and that's really important. Professional isolation, as I say, I usually live on a beach, in vacation places, and I don't have really opportunity to talk business. People on vacation don't tend to do that, and I can't blame them. They have like 2-3 weeks of vacation per year. Obviously, they're not going to talk business to me. That's why I realized it's really important to join these kind of co-working events, go to hubs, do stuff like that. I recently spent 2 months being part of Try Wanted, which was an excellent way to get support, feedback, tips. So do that. It's really important. I often get asked if I'm going to return to my real life and when is that going to happen and what is that going to look like, which is quite confusing. I think that after all these years, there is no such thing of real life stashed away somewhere waiting for me to return to it. I really don't think so. The real life is here with me on the road as I'm standing in front of you right now. I started my trip when I was in my 20s, now I'm already in my 30s. I was a junior developer, now I'm a senior engineer, transitioning towards project management. I was single, in a relationship, single, so the life was happening to me. Whatever needs to be done, whatever needs to happen, whatever needs to be taken care of, the time is now. Don't postpone anything. Being on the road or not, the life is happening. Also, I'm always trying to build a lifestyle that is unique to me. I didn't like the pressure of the conventional lifestyle, I guess, like nobody here. But also, I don't like the pressure of the hype now. I don't need to be the coolest one. I don't need to set the record of number of countries I visit or anything like that. The only important thing for me is to be at any given moment at the place where I want to be and do stuff that make me happy. I'm loving this location independence revolution. It really is a revolution, and it's more than a trip. It's a full, sustainable, balanced lifestyle where you can live in a healthy way, where you can improve your business, your career, have meaningful relationships with people back home as well as with the people you meet on the road, and progress in every possible way. Also, the whole movement is maturing. I'm really happy to see all these new ideas and projects happening every day in our community. Like now we have like a sailing co-working space with the cowboat guys. We have shift education, I think, for the kids of digital nomads that they can go to school when their parents are traveling, stuff like that. So we are taking this seriously and we are getting stronger, and it's amazing to be part of that. I started my trip by following the elements, natural elements of the wind, waves, and sun around the world. And I really love my life, and I want to bring more people over to the sunny side. I'll be spending the 6th season in a row in my happy place in Jericoacoara, Brazil, September through February. So if you're there, get in touch. We'll do some interesting meetups. And also, I'm super happy to have DNX camp this year in Jericoacoara. So really hope to see you there, and thank you for your time.